I'm here live on YouTube, and I'm still a little new on figuring out how everything goes on YouTube. And I think, if I recall correctly, the comments will just flow up on my screen, so we shall see. Um, but I am going on a little early. Just make sure that I can see things. So I've got it opened up here to see comments. Okay, I think we're good. I think we got this. So let's see. It says waiting. Why is it waiting? Okay. Let's see if it goes. Ta-da! It did. Hi. All right, you guys. Well, I am trying to get into the habit of doing more YouTube lives. And the reason is that I do a lot of Facebook lives, which I love. I think those are great, and I have fun with those. But I know that not everybody is into YouTube. Into Facebook. So YouTube maybe has a little bit of a broader reach. So I just want to add that to the things that I'm doing. So part of my deal is that I often, think, oh, I'm going to get to that when I can get it all sorted. How many of you have done that? When you're like, there's a thing you want to do, and then you turn it into a whole chore because you feel like you got to be all ready and stuff. And I was talking to my brother today, and he does a lot of research on YouTube because he's been on YouTube before. Hi, Curious George. She said, I made this one. You did. I'm so glad to see you here. Yay, thank you. And a hoja to everybody. I'm in selfie mode, so my aloha sign is backwards. So as you all know, we do a hoja around here because I am in Maui, which I think by now you guys know. Anyway, so I was chatting with my brother this morning. We sometimes we'll go, have a coffee on our lanai. Hi, Katie. Vivian says, I'm so happy to see you here on YouTube. I'm never on Facebook. Woohoo! I was mentioning that, Vivian, that one of the reasons why I want, hi, Donna, hi, Cynthia, to jump on YouTube more is just that. A lot of you are on YouTube and not on Facebook. Social platforms change all the time. So I'm always searching for the thing that gives us all the most joy and fun. So hi, Patricia. Hi, Karen. Michelle, I'm sorry. Thank you, because sometimes y'all have aliases. And I cannot even keep track of regular names, let alone various names on screen versus names in real life. But thank you for telling me that, Michelle. I appreciate that. I'll try to remember, so you can just remind me. Says my brother, you look familiar. So that's a perfect segue. Hi, Mensal. I'm sorry, Samantha. I read your last name first. That I was talking to my brother. Often we go have coffee on the lanai to start our morning, but we have a couple favorite coffee spots on island. And we went to one of our favorites today called South Maui Garden. So when you visit Maui, put down on your list to go to South Maui Gardens. It's going to be your favorite spot on this side of the island. It's a big block that's a nursery, but there's food trucks on one end and a coffee place and a pizza joint on the other end, and all these little gardens in between where you can just sit and enjoy. Katie says, shared to the Facebook groups for you. Thank you, Katie. I remember you did that last time too, and that was so kind of you. You rock. Thank you so much. But anyway, we were talking about a billion merry things. And Rick has done a lot of research on YouTube. He's had a YouTube channel for a long time. And he's, working on what version of YouTube he wants to continue, as we all are. And one of the things both him and I sort of stall on, which is crazy, and we do it for different reasons, is just instead of just doing a live or a video, we kind of like say, oh man, I gotta do all these, make sure I've got this and then these things, and I gotta thumbnail that and do that, and we turn it into a whole big thing. Hi, Denise, ahoja. And it's not a whole big thing. I mean, it can be, and that is great, but it doesn't have to be. It can be as simple as jumping online and saying, hi, I'm here. So that was my goal today, of stop saying, oh, I got to do that, and just do it. Most likely I will come up with a set time a week where I do a live, so you guys can, put it on your calendar and come join me. But anyway, that's the deal behind this. So what are we going to do now that we're here chatting? Well, we're going to chat about whatever, but I am big on creativity. You might have noticed that. And in my creative universe, I consider so many things to be creative, not just making art, but the way patterns and shadows in the universe around us strike our eye and go, ooh, doesn't that look beautiful? Or the way you create a plate of something delicious to eat, or something that's weird and unusual to eat can have its own creativity in it. Just the way you move about your day, the way you interact with people. There's so many things that can be creative, and I like exploring all that business. So I got some show and tell for you guys today, and I'm also open if you guys have any creativity questions. I will do my best to tell you my answer for whatever it's worth. But what I wanted to share with you today is when we went to South Maui Gardens the other day with a friend that was on island. One of the things I love about it is in the middle there's a little office where if you're buying nursery items, plants and such, you can go pay for them. Well, the gal who runs it's a sweetheart, and she's always bringing in fruit. Sometimes it's fruit that's growing on the grounds there. Sometimes it's fruit from her. She's right next to an orchard and a farm, so she brings in all the stuff. So this is what I got last time. Does anyone know what this is? Has anyone seen one of these in real life? What do you think it is, guys? I will tell you that I have shared this particular family of fruits before, because there's several things in this family. And they're all very similar. And this particular one, any takers? Anybody that's got a guess for me who knows what this is? It is a lychee, says Michelle. Yes, autocorrect helped you make it be a lychee, but lychee is correct. And the other members of that family are longans and rambutans. And I think that's the only other two. But basically, when you cut a little slice in it, as I did here, you can crack open this little brown shell. And inside is this, delicious, juicy weirdness. And it's so flavorful. So all three, a sphere banana, says Ricky. No, but that's a great guess. I would like a sphere banana. Is there such a thing? I don't think so, although there's a lot of weird bananas. But these things are so tasty, and they're so not what you expect. So it's got this papery, wrinkly elephant skin outside shell, and this super juicy sweet thing, and it's got a big seed in the middle. So yeah, I know that I knew that, Michelle. It was autocorrect, right? It's just a thing. But anyway, so she had a little bag full of those, and I love that. And the rambutans are the same on the inside, but they have all this like hair all over the place, like not really hair, but spiky, stringy looking things, which are adorable. And longans are very similar. And they all have a slightly different flavor, but they're all fun. So the reason I'm eating them at you is because I feel like that's a big part of being in a creative brain space, is being open to trying new things. Now, it could be new foods, it could be new activities, it could be just a new way of your morning routine, whatever works for you. But mix it up, baby. That helps keep your creativity in full blast. Connor says, Karen says, have your cuts not healed yet? Well, my one small cut's fine, but this one was quite a bit deeper, so it's still taking its time and reminding me, pay attention, especially with sharp knives. But it's funny. I'm glad you brought that up. Connor says, is the sphere banana going to be in Ricky's shape class? Yeah, I'm sure it will be. Linda says, I happened to see a session on Facebook and it said you were live. Was that lucky or what? Right, well, one of the gals shared it over to Facebook, which is fantastic. So thank you, Katie. And then I actually went on live within the hour to just tease you to come to this one. But yeah, that little purple bandage. So I don't usually like to talk about injuries and stuff. So I'm personally, we all have our stuff going on. And one of the best ways to get somebody's brain to explode is to describe to them in detail all of the problems you're having. So I'm not going to do that. But what I will tell you about this that has been interesting to me is we can glean positiveness, lessons, things that we can think about of anything that happens in life, right? Some things are more challenging, and they may take the distance of time to actually feel the goodness of them. Others like this, yeah, I hurt myself. It's not the end of the world. But it did make me think of a couple different things, because how many of you have been in a circumstance where you've hurt yourself and you think, oh, it's nothing. And then you kind of thinking, maybe it is something. Should I do something about that? And then that sets into a whole series of then the next stage is like, well, who will I go see? Do I have a doctor, not a doctor? Is it the middle of the night or a weekend, which typically is the case? Should I go see them? Should I just see if it's going to be okay? Should I do this natural remedy? Should I do medicine? It's like there's so many things in our brains when we have most small things we can handle, but when it's like the next step up from a small thing like this was, now you have to go reach out for help. And am I fussing? Should I be better safe than sorry? So all those things went through my head. So I just wanted to throw this encouragement out for all of you, is that on this crazy little planet, we have circles of support. And a lot of times we don't utilize them properly. Now, some people do, some people overuse them, but for many of us women, we kind of power through things. And I think a lot of men, especially when it comes to medicine as well, are like, no, not asking for any help. But may I suggest to you that there is a certain peace of mind, especially if you have a wound, where you have a professional look at it and just make sure everything's going well. And if you have worries or concerns, reach back out. There's a lot of things out there that can help. I know insurance is a mess and all that, but don't hesitate. I tend to be of like, I'm just going to power through it, and I'm trying to learn to reach out for help and put my mind at ease, not just drive myself crazy looking at pictures on the internet and imagining what it could be, but asking questions and getting some help. So if anybody's struggling with something, you know, reach out to your support people and get the help you need. Don't just suffer in silence, because it's not fun. There's plenty of people that will help us when we let them. And it's a gift to them to let them help us if we are doing it right and you know, gratitude and all that stuff. So anyway, that's a Christi aphorism for the day. Lean on your people when you need them. Karen says, makes you do things differently not having those digits at play when you're working. So very true. I was doing a live chat with the Softflex people, which I will be posting a YouTube video sometime soon in the next week or so. I went on Softflex Live because they have a monthly beading party and I was their guest, and it was really fun. I made, using their bead kit, I put a whole bunch of stuff on a mirror. And then after the live was done, I thought, I'm almost done here. Why don't I film the other half and I'll make a video of that. So I'll put the other half on and that'll be up here eventually, which reminds me, everyone, if you have not already hit the subscribe button and the notifications, please do that, because then whenever I throw up these new things, when you are in Facebook, it will put you in my feed, or put me in your feed, so you'll know when you got new stuff from me, which is good, right? Because I'm random. Anyway, so I was doing the live chat with them, and this had just happened a day or so before, and I had to mix up epoxy clay, which you guys know I use all the time, and I can't put a glove over this. It's just too tight. So I was just thinking, I like to use the gloves when I'm mixing it, otherwise it just gets that epoxy clay all stuck in your hands, and it takes a while to wipe it all off, which I don't want to do live. So I had to kind of cut one of the gloves and feed it around my finger and try to get it on, so I got this stinking finger blarking out. So yes, you definitely do things different when a digit is affected, right? So yeah, it's been an interesting challenge. So I have been creating some of you guys saw that I had posted a video about these little shadow ghoulies. So there's 3 of them. And I am just finishing up finally with all of the ones that were ordered, and then they'll be no longer available. So if you were thinking about getting one, today's your day to jump on there and get it, because I'm only going to be keeping it open for the next couple of days until I get them all finished. And then I'll have another new one later on. So there's always new ones. But if you like those, I usually make them and then they're done. I don't usually go back and revisit them. Once in a while, somebody's persuaded me to make one that they really liked again, and that's okay. I can do that sometimes. But if you're interested in that, my Facebook, let me start again. My website, where you can purchase my things, I will add it in the description after this is done being live. But it's just ChristiFriesen.com. So bop on over there and take a look. It's in the spotlight items. I also have a category for these limited edition ghoulies, so you can look at it there too if you prefer. Linny's Moosegotloos says, hi Christi, sorry about your finger. Thank you. Hi Linny. Pat says, so happy to happen upon you. Me too. Karen says, so cute. Thank you, Karen. But yeah, you know, we all have stuff. I've been so lucky in my life where I've had very few serious things that have happened to me. And, you know, even the injuries are minor, at least for now. It's minor. Hopefully it will not do anything weird. But some people have gone through such major things, and my heart goes out to anybody that has suffered greatly. I've been lucky. I've had my share of suffering like we all have, but nothing completely earth-shattering. So thank you for thinking of me. I appreciate that, and I really appreciate everybody's thoughts. I know that makes a difference when we think of others and send them healing thoughts, comforting thoughts, loving thoughts. We're all connected, so I appreciate that. Okay, so I've shared a lychee with you, or lychee, and I always forget how it's pronounced. So one of those, lychee or lychee. And now I'm going to show you something else. So what I like to do on these live chats is I love to have show and tell. Raise of hands on who, when they were going to school, loved show and tell like I did. Anybody besides me? Conyer says, but if you really want to up your ghoulie game and get fun and awesome one-of-a-kind ghoulies, you need to join the Dibs group. Just saying. That's true. In fact, I got to write this down because I want to make sure that I put the Diamond group and the website on the description when I'm done. But thank you, Conyers, for bringing that up. So, hi, Vivian. So what the Diamond Dibs group is, and when you go to my website, you'll see my groups, my Christi Universe group, so you can look it all up. But that is the place where you go to buy my art, because I don't make as much of it as I wish. And except for these limited edition ghoulies where I will make a prototype and then sell it to all of you and then make them and then finish the series. The one-of-a-kind stuff goes only to my group, and they buy just about everything. In fact, I think so far we're running it like 99%. And I love that. I love you all. Conyers has been part of that group from the beginning, and I'm so glad. And Mary, yep, you're in there too. I'm really happy to have you guys there. But it is for the cool kids. And we have usually about once a month where I kind of do some stuff. Lately, I've been mostly just doing ghoulies and things just because I've had so much stuff going on. But I have been itching to get back into doing more, drama art that I like to do. So fingers crossed I'll get some time to do that because that's fun. How many of you guys also struggle to find time in your life to create as much as you would like? Vivian says, I love it that your art sells. I do too, Vivian. It's been let's see, over 2 decades that I've been doing art in this way and selling my art in this way. And I am so grateful for the people that have supported me all along, that like what I make, that buy what I make. I've done my fair share of shows and all kinds of different things, but the fact that I've got folks that want to buy it consistently, you don't know how happy that makes me. I'm sure you do, because those of you who are creative understand what it feels like when somebody buys something. It's not just the money, although that's how the world goes round for the most part. So the money is important, but it is also that wonderful feeling of connecting with somebody, having somebody like something that you do. It's very validating. And I hope we are all moving to the part of just what we make for our own enjoyment. And if other people also like it, that's bonus. We're not making it so that people will like us. Although I have done that for decades and I'm slowly moving out of that. But make what you like, and the people who like it too will find you. And if not, hey, you're making what you like. You can donate them to the universe by dropping them off in little parks or something for people to find if you have to. But just enjoy it. Enjoy the process yourself if you can. If you must make for money, try to make things that are as enjoyable as possible for you. So that's what I've tried to do, and I am so grateful that I got a crop of you guys that like my craziness, and mostly because I just do whatever the hell I want. That way it's always different and interesting, I think. Speaking of which, I got something very different and interesting to show you in a minute. Darlene says, found you. Yes, you did. The cool kids. Yeah, that's right, Pat. The cool kids are on my Dibs group. They are cool kids. Donna says, me, not as much as I would like to. I get that. Karen says, I still have your turtle resin ring. I forgot you got that one. That was a good ring. I'm so glad you liked that one. Thank you. Brandy says, I have a hard time just making for myself. I'm always thinking, will this sell? I wish I could get over that. You are not alone, my dear. Vivian says, you're an inspiration, Christi. Thank you. That's my job. I'm your creativity cheerleader, and happy to do it because I like it. But Brandy, you are not alone in that. And I think most of us have fallen into that category. Sometimes it's out of necessity, but a lot of times it's just out of this Western capitalism that we've got going on, apparently. And everything has a price tag of its value, which is not what all peoples and all cultures have in their lives, but that's the one we're in. And it is really difficult to move past that because it's ingrained in us since childhood, right? And so it's nobody's fault. It's just what it is. But we have the power to think differently. So what it is just a little steps at a time. If you feel like most of your art is what will people like, I get that. Don't beat yourself over it. I totally get. Maybe make a goal to do like, okay, 1 day a week or one piece of art out of every 50 or whatever. I'm going to do whatever I want, no matter how weird, no matter how odd, no matter how I don't think anybody's going to like this, and just do it. Just do it. If you want some more discussion about what do you do if, like, when you go to your selling table, you have fluffy bunnies, but when you're at home in your quiet little studio all by yourself, you just want to make turtles with fangs. And how do I bring my turtles with fangs with the bunnies? If you guys want to talk about that a little bit more in a future live chat about what happens when you're a schizophrenic artist, and I say that lightly, I know that's a serious thing, but what happens when you have more than one thing that you're doing? Let's chat about that, because I understand how that goes. But make what you like as much as you can, as often as you can. And the more you do it, the easier it gets, the more you like it, the more feedback you will get, and put it out there. Share it. Share it out there. You will find your weirdos. They are out there, baby. I am, a firm believer in we have got to embrace our weirdness, enjoy it, enjoy each other's weirdness, support each other's weirdness. Somebody's a little too weird for you or not weird enough, they'll have their people. You find the ones that are weird just like you, and it's all going to work out great. Will there be more books? Says Karen. And Pat says, fangs. See, what about turtle with fangs and like a spiky tail like Stegosaurus had? My brother and I were talking about our childhood this morning when we were having our coffee, and we were talking about turtles. It was a long train of thought that got there, but essentially where we grew up in the South, there were snapping turtles, and we were talking about those because they are prehistoric looking. So I could definitely see snapping turtle with fangs and a tail with spikes on it. I'm just saying. Will there be more books? Said Karen. Yes. What? Yes. I have not made a new book for so long, which, by the way, you can get all of my books when you go to my website. My website has been revamped for me, and it's doing so good. There's still tweaks that I need, and it's a ongoing process of continually trying to make it more manageable, more fun, more friendly. So I have two sections. There's an ebook section and a book section. I don't know. They should be combined. But if you go on the ebook section, all the books I've written are there and available for download. I will warn you that some of the early ones are a little bit more clunky than the later ones, as happens. But there's a lot of good material, even in those early clunky ones. So I hope you'll give them a look-see. And the only one that I physically have copies of in my hands, there are some physical copies out there, but I've run through all of the ones that I printed, and I'm not reprinting those. Conyers says, dude, there better be a turtle with fangs for future silly spooky. Conyers, I'm tasking you, and now Janine too, because I see her there. I'm tasking you too to remind me so I don't forget. I'm going to write down fang turtle, but you never know. So I'm going to put that on you to share my memory. Fang turtle for the spooky. We do multiple Halloween events throughout the year because apparently many of us like Halloween. So we will do that. We just got finished with one secret bonus surprise Halloween in April. Who knew? We'll probably have another one here in later summer. So we'll see what happens. But anyway, Karen, the only book that I have currently in stock is my most recent one, and I've got several dozen copies of those left, and it's called Do You See What I See? I love that book. If you have not get it anytime in the recentness, jump on over to my website and go get it because it's really good. So I give, we talk about creativity. There's projects throughout it and techniques, but there's also like thinking about what could this be, what could that be? When we see that, what can we do with it? I think it's one of the more clever books I've ever written. So I think you should buy it because that would be great. It's just fun. Darlene says, fang turtles. I know, right? I think we should do something with that. Spooky Hanu, yes, with bat wings and a spiky tail. We could go crazy with this. All right, guys, I love how we're going. Like the turtle on Godzilla, fangs and fire. Totally. If you're going to be a turtle, why not? Just go full blast on it. Karen said, got it, love it. I'm so glad. I'm glad you have it. Thank you. So Janine, yes. So you guys conspire. Keep that in my brain. I'm going to write it down, but I'm counting on you guys to help me remember when we get close to the next Halloween time. All right. Okay, I got other stuff to show you. So speaking of wacky and weird, the other day when I was at South Maui Gardens, they have on Thursday, they have a little artisan market. And it's nice. It's not many booths. You only have like a dozen booths or so. All everybody's got their own little tent, and they're all tucked in and amongst the trees. It's delightful. So there's a main walkway from one end to the other, and they're all tucked in there. And they're there for several hours on one day a week. I think it was Thursday. And Denise, yeah, Denise can be in on this too. So you can all be my fanged turtle friends. So anyway, there's different people that come and go. Some that are always there, some that are only occasionally there. And I love sitting and talking to every one of them, and just, they're all locals. They all have different kinds of art. It's fun to interact. It's not so many people that I don't feel like I could talk to each person, whether or not I'm going to buy their stuff or not. I love to talk to them, and I have bought various things because I like to support local artists, or any artist for that matter, if I can, as you guys do for me. But this one guy, whose name is Corey Flanders, but I had seen him there once before, and he does paintings of different things. So he's got realistic, like tropical flowers and things like that, and then weirdo faces. So talking about people with more than one kind of art going on. So this is what I saw. He only had one of these, and I had to get it. Can you see what this is? It's got its shiny little wrapper on it still. It is a palm tree made out of nails, and this is his name here, Corey Flanders. I just saw that and I thought, dude, what is this? He goes, well, there's a Habitat for Humanity, the resale store that they have. There's one of these on island. And he says, I just went in there and bought a bunch of nails from Maui and just made a palm tree out of them. And dude, I have to have it. I just have to. That kind of weirdness I appreciate with all my heart. Because look at that thing. I mean, how cool is that, right? It's got a little string on here because it's a Christmas ornament or whatever. I will find a nice little place for it to be. And it's not done with any kind of precision. It's like a blob of glue, and he stuck it all in. I just love it. So I wanted to encourage you guys, when it comes to creativity, this is what I'm talking about. You just make for yourself because it amuses you. Because why not? And here's a little secret of the universe that maybe you didn't know, mostly because I just made it up, but I do know that other people say similar things, so that probably has the ring of authenticity to it, is that when you do anything creative cooking, creative arranging of your house, creative clothing, creative dance, creative art, what you're doing is you're getting your mind in that going with the flow vibe. And in my opinion, the best way to live your life is to do things that interest you, and other people have said this too, things that excite you, things that inspire your passion, and you just flow with them for as far as they take you. For an example, he went looking for who knows what at that store, found nails, didn't know what he was going to do with them, I'm sure, and just grabbed a handful, and then at home went, that looks like a palm tree, huh? Maybe he had a different voice, I don't remember. And just putting that all together like that for his own amusement. And then he only made one, he brought it to his little thing, and it amused me. And now it's amusing all of you. So you never know what your little craziness is gonna, ripple off to everybody else. So isn't that fun? So anyway, Corey Flanders does not invoke a Polynesian vibe, but that's a fun nail sculpture. Yes, he was not a Hawaiian native person. He was one of us that have descended upon the island and now love it here. So yeah, definitely not a Polynesian guy, but obviously in the spirit of weirdness and definitely Maui inspired, which is really fun. Creative gardening, right? Curious, how much did he charge for the tree? He charged $20. And I said, I must have it because that is like one of the most original and cool things I've seen in a long time. And I just love, I can see that these are the nails he got out of the bin. I imagine that he bent one or two of them, but I suspect that many of them were just bent like that. And he said, that's a palm tree. And I love that. But I bought it because I wanted to put it in my world, and I wanted to show you guys because how fun is that, right? So very cool. Yeah, I really like that. Okay, I got more show and tell. Are you guys up for more? Shall we do a little bit more? I brought more fun things to show you. Okay, so to me, the benefit of this show and tell is that we're talking about these various things that affect all of us as artists or as creative enthusiasts. Because when you're an artistic person as an expression of yourself, you need the people who appreciate art to be around to see it. You don't have to. You could do it quietly in your room all by yourself. Many have. But it's really nice when somebody else goes, that's really cool. Like, I know he got a big kick out of me coming by and going, I love that. That is way cool, right? So it is nice. It is nice to share that. So I'm doing this with you to kind of show you my process, things that I do, just different aspects that pop in my head with the expectation and hope that it will inspire you or whatever. Janine says, weird is a superpower. Encourage it, nourish it. And I would say he nailed it. How many of you were thinking that joke right now? And we're going, I know a great pun. Why isn't she saying it? Why? Okay, I caught up with you. It got through finally. Okay, so here's the thing that is completely random, but I found it when I was looking through something else. This is just a cluster of rocks. Okay, now these are rocks from the Hawaiian beachside. So they're lava rocks. And I will not put these in a finished piece. I got these when I first got on island before I really realized the specialness that the lava rocks have to this island, and they're not to just be gathered and sent all around. So I did this at first thinking, ooh, this would be a fun part of something that I make. Now it's just for me, and it will stay here with me on this island for me to enjoy and love and pet. But I wanted you to see just how very simple it is. It's just a piece of epoxy clay, and you guys know I use epoxy sculpt all the time, and I just press these in. Now you could do this with any rocks that you find, river rocks, rocks that you buy at a gem show or whatever. But the reason why I'm loving the rocks too, right? The reason why I wanted to show you is I love the smoothness of them, and I love how they look when they all fit together like a little weird puzzle. So if you're doing stuff with epoxy clay, which I know many of you are now, and my epoxy clay of choice is Epoxy Sculpt, made by AV Studio. If you go to my website, I sell the smaller sizes in a couple different colors. But I love that stuff. It's just great. But what's wonderful about it is you mix up the two parts of the putty. Now you have about an hour to make stuff. And after I'm finished making something, I always have extra because I always make more than I need in case I want to do something immediately. And with that little extra, we can do several things, one of which is a blob that you put rocks in. So before you start to do something with your epoxy clay, might I suggest that you have some buckets around of sand, glitter, micro balls, tiny little pebbles, whatever, so that if you have little extras, you can make these little clusters, because they will find their way into something somewhere along the way. If you're a polymer clay person, and you want to include this in your polymer, you'll see that there was a line here. I originally had put a wire through the middle there because I thought, okay, now I can use that wire to embed it into polymer clay so it'll stay, and then I thought better of it and pulled it out. But you could definitely do that too, and then you've got a way of embedding it into polymer clay if you're into that, or whatever you're into. But a lot of times what I'll do, and this is the next part of the epoxy clay little thing, I will make, oh wait, I'm going to go back to that. I will make things on purpose with epoxy clay. Then I have extras. One of the things that I do with the extras is the rock. I had to think about where I was going with this train of thought. The other thing that I do is I have a whole bunch of little test tubes, bottles and stuff, and I put little legs on them. So that's usually one at a time depending on what I've got left over. So I have a whole little bucket of legs or bottles for legs to go on as I go along. It doesn't matter what color they are, because then I will cover that all up with either polymer or epoxy and turn this into a little vessel. I love making vessels, and it can be big, it can be small. For example, I had this big one and I put all those legs on, and then and I started putting arms on. I don't even know why, just random. And then I decided, well, what if it also started getting crystals all over it? So that whole bucket of Swarovski crystals that I needed to do something with. So I started to put little things sticking out and little blobs on it. I don't know what this is going to be. I don't even need to know. When it's time for it to be a thing, then it will. Right now, it's just a place that whenever I have extra, I put a little bit more around here and add some more crystals or add another thing or whatever, until this calls out to me and says, I'm ready to be finished. I'm smiling at that, says Vivian. Thank you. I like that you like it. Here's another one of those. And I went a little bit farther on this one. So this one's got the epoxy sculpt all over it. Then I put gold leaf. So I use 24 karat gold leaf all the time because I love it. Anyway, I started putting that. I put the Swarovskis on there. I had a bunch of different pearls. So this is half of a vessel, you can see. It's going to be pretty good. It's got all of this nifty stuff at the top. Woo! And all this nifty stuff all around the neck. It's just waiting for the last half, but I don't know what it will be yet or why. But I like it. So to me, this is a thing to she's got legs and she knows how to use them. Yeah, for sure, Conyers. Exactly. But I love just being able to do part of something. And I think that's another thing I wanted to encourage you guys is as you're doing your creativity, don't worry about timing or anything. Just do what you feel like doing until you've stopped being interested, motivated, or if you've reached an impasse. And then just set it aside. Go do something else and come back to it. You'll have new ideas and you'll be able to keep on going. It's no problem. I have so many work in progress buckets all over the place where I get certain far along, mostly because I'm doing a demo or things like that. And it just gets so far and then that's it. Janine says, I'm glad I'm not the only one who has inanimate objects speaking to them. I think as artists, our materials and our supplies and things are talking to us all the time. And that's one of the fun things. It may be that we are artists because those things talk to us, or they talk to us because we're artists, or possibly some weird combination of both. But I like that. I like that the art to be made involves itself in the making if we let it. It's kind of fun. It's a neat thing. Here's another little one that I thought was fun. You know, sometimes you get those votive things or those little yogurt jars or whatever else. Brandy says, that's why I have a craft room full of supplies. Yes. You cannot be a cook without spices. You cannot be an artist without stuff. It's not hoarding. It's our art. Right? Connor says, sorry to everyone. I'm on a Devil Went Down to Georgia high. Oh, I get that, girl. I do. Sometimes those songs, they just take over. That's what we do. Anyway, I wanted to show you this one. I got these way cool, I don't know if you can see them. I don't think you can. But these way cool periwinkle shells when the last time I was in Ireland. And I know it's not focusing because my face is in the way. But anyway, they're beautiful. And on the shore, they look like somebody just sprinkled a can of corn all over the sand, which is great. And so when you get these little yogurt jars, you can put legs on it, but you could also put like a ring around the top and just put stuff. This one has a ring of shells. You can see where 2 shells fell off, so I'll put some more shells on there. And I also stuck some sand in there and some gold mica powder. So, you know, this will be ready for whatever comes next. I don't know. I've had that like that for years. I'm just waiting. Brandy says, I think my hobby might be hoarding craft supplies. I think most artists have 2 hobbies. One is collecting the crafts, and the other is using them occasionally. So what I'm trying to encourage all of us is the collecting them is fun. I think because the collecting them is potential. It's the hope for what the future is going to bring. It's the possibility of making. It's the excitement of anticipation to come. And that is a beautiful high. It's a nice dopamine hit or whatever the buzzwords are these days. It's great. And it is its own obsession, its own thing. But making yourself use them can be more challenging. And I've talked about that before. You might want to check out some of the other YouTubes and live chats that I have here. But I have talked about making little inspiration buckets so that you go through your thing and you kind of create a little tray or inspiration trays so that you have like a little pile of things to draw from that is not as overwhelming as all of the supplies that you have all around you. Kind of limits it, but still gives you a lot of potential, which I think is helpful. Laughing about the hoarding and collecting, right? Lynn says, I always say I have many collections. Yes, nothing wrong with that. No judgment here, man. Okay, so one last little thing I want to show and tell you is, so this one was a sort of cobbled together thing that is still a long way from home. And I wanted to point out a couple of different things about this that I think are unusual that might be inspirational for you. So what this started out with is a demonstration on how to use a silk screen. Now on polymer clay, there's silk screens out there, and I had somebody who worked with me to create one with my own design that had a coral reef. I've long since sold out on that and have not gotten any more, which one of these days get around to that. But I was trying to show how you could put the silk screen on and then you could use pastels. I think I used the pan pastels on this to kind of do additional coloring. You could cut things out and lay things on top, as you can see here that I've done. So this was a demo. And then after the demo, I thought, well, it turned out pretty good. I'll bake it. I don't know what I'm going to do with it yet, but I'll just bake it. right? I do that a lot. With polymer clay, you have to bake it with epoxy clay, epoxy sculpt epoxy clay. You can just let it air dry, and some of you use other different types of 3D materials. But then I just set it aside and wait to see what happens, because I don't know yet, right? Sometimes I do, but most of the time I don't. So then I took it out one time and said, oh, I'm going to make this other thing, because I don't know if you can see this, I had something else that I had made as a demo, which had a bit of epoxy sculpt in the middle with a pearl, and then just these little bits of wire showing how you can use the little leftovers from when you're doing wirecraft and you have all the snippets. I've got little containers full of all the little snippets from the head pins and the wire and stuff that I use, because it can make a really fun thing that adds to that flow. And so I did this. I put a little hanger on the back as a wall hanger, but honestly, I'm just like, yeah, it still needs something. So next time I make another thing, I will add even more epoxy clay, and I'll continue to add, you know, extension of the coral, or I'll bring some fish in there, I'll make an octopus or whatever. And whatever you make, it's not done until you feel like it's done. Thank you, Vivian. I like all the aspects of this. I think this turned out interestingly. I loved this little piece. I thought they went together nicely, but you know, I just kind of set it down going, it does still need something else. I thought it was done for a while, thought it was a finished wall piece. That's why I put the hanger on. And then I just went, no, that's not yet. It needs more. So we'll see. It needs fangs. It needs a turtle with fangs, a sea turtle with fangs. No, that's good, right? Love the wire with the pearl. Yeah, that's a great little combination, isn't it? It really gives a lot of flow. It's like a shooting star, or, you know, the currents of the ocean. I mean, there's just a lot of neat things. So again, I wanted to encourage you, two things. Use the stuff you have, including little bits and pieces, to the best of your ability. And octopus with fangs. If their mouth wasn't down in their belly, it would be easier, but I know a lot of people will put a mouth on the face area, which I do sometimes because it's fun. But they got that crazy beak going on. What is even that about? Octopuses are weird in such a good way. But lots of movement, says Janine. Yes, but octopus with fangs, I could see it. Marianne says, show and tell. Love it. Thank you, Marianne. I appreciate it. I do too. And I feel like, but the benefit of show and tell to me when I was a kid, it was fun to show off what you brought. I mean, that was always exciting. But I always liked to see what other people had, because you never knew. People surprise you with what they've got. And it's really kind of cool. There's all kinds of crazy out there, and interesting and weird and unusual and stuff. It's just, there's so much to see and learn about and know and be inspired by. So I wanted to bring a little of that to you guys, as I often do. All right, so I don't have any other show and tell, if you can believe it. Darlene says, I need a fish refresher tutorial. Right? Now, fish are fun. I haven't done a fish for ages. We might have to do that. All right. Help me remember, okay, Darlene? Message me or something. And I will actually, I'll write down fish too, but message me if you want to, because that helps. And I'll put it in. Darlene's a member, I think, of the, right? Darlene, your Creative Circle. I try to keep all of everything straight in my head, but sometimes it gets messy. So the Creative Circle is a membership group that I have that's $10 a month. It is a freaking ass bargain. I mean, a freaking bargain. Sorry. Now I'm going to have to check that box on Facebook that says, did you use any language? I mean, freaking awesome is what I meant. It's a bargain because for $10 a month, you're going to get a project every month, which when I put that project up for sale in the site, which I do, it's usually $15 to $25 for the project alone. Plus, we also have a weekly live chat on Sunday in that group, which is great, right? And then we take projects and continue them. We start new projects. We do all kinds of fun things in there. Yes, Circle member, but there are two Darlenes. That's right. Darlene, you're the one that's the Circle member. And possibly the other Darlene is too. Conyer says, the beak of the 20,000 Leagues Beastie always freaked me out. I know. And they are like that. Like giant squids have some crazy parrot beak things going on. It's weird. Anyway, did you know, fun fact, that sperm whales eat giant squids, and they can digest all of the squidiness except for their beaks, which oftentimes clump up inside the whale and form into a clump that eventually gets horked out, and that's ambergris. Who knew? Partially digested squid beaks. So there you go. Fun fact. just in case you didn't know that. Okay, so yes, if you join the circle group, which will be one of those universe things like I talked about with the diamond members, there's a circle group too. That's a great one. We do a lot of creativity. We explore. We talk like this all the time. Anyway, all right, show and tell. I've done all the things I wanted to show you. I hope that gave you a little bit of inspiration for your creativity. If you like this, please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe. Please hit the notification buttons. And if you have other crafty friends that you think, or creative friends, arty friends, anybody that you think might enjoy this or my channel, please let them know about it. The more people that come and watch me, the better. I appreciate it because every little penny helps keep me in this crazy creative pathway, and I really appreciate that. Brandy says, I'm so glad I decided to pop in here on a whim. Got the notification. This has been an inspiring chat, and I'm going to go sit in my craft room and see if something happens just for me. Thanks, Christy. Brandy, I'm so excited to hear that. Please keep me posted on if anything happens. I'd love to know about it. All right, you guys. Woohoo! Happy creating, everyone. Oh, the things we use, creative supplies and beauty ingredients. Yep. Speaking of ambergris. Everybody have a wonderful day today. So my next trick is try to figure out how to shut this off. Since I don't do this as much, I sometimes forget. But hopefully I'm going to be able to say goodbye to you all properly. That's not it. Yes, it's somewhere around here. But you guys have a wonderful day. And just, I hope everybody has a great time creating. Mwah. Bye, everybody.